Hello. Sorry it's dark. It's almost 8 o'clock, and I realized that my window of time to go live before The Bachelor started was shrinking. So I just got my kids to bed, and I know I needed to get on before 8 so that 90% of my viewers, Julie Kimmock, could be here. So I'll just wait a second. I know you're going to pop on. Oh, there you probably are there. Okay, she's here, so I can go. And Steph's here. All right, well, now that it's the three of us, I wanted to speak to this high-functioning anxiety. I know that Julie and I mentioned it, hey baby, in the podcast, and then Steph, you mentioned it again this morning. You're totally right, by the way, with the fact that almost everybody who has anxiety fits under this high-functioning label. And I got thinking about that ever since I watched your live too. And I was thinking, just like you had said, there is a minority of people, right, who might not fit under that have the outward, whatever we want to call it. I don't want to say symptoms, signs that they suffer. And I was thinking about the high functioning thing and how I joked on the podcast and I said, haha, thank goodness I'm high functioning, like that it was a funny thing. And then the more I got to think about it today, on a more serious note, I realized that it can be kind of a double-edged sword there because when you have this quote-unquote high-functioning anxiety, meaning that when you meet me or you see me, you wouldn't necessarily know that I'm dealing with it or suffering from it, in a way that kind of makes it camouflaged. And I was thinking about I don't know if it was the woman who does That's Inappropriate. I forget who I saw this on, but what is her name? I have my computer up behind me. Anyway, I don't remember, it doesn't matter if it was her video or somewhere else on Facebook where I saw it was a mom and she was, in a comic way going on this tangent like, gosh, why won't anyone take me serious? Why do I have to lose my shit to get someone to take me seriously? Like, why is it that when, no one hears me. She was talking about the husband, over a cup of coffee when I bring up a concern. It's like when mom throws the laundry basket across the room, that's when everybody's like, whoa, we should listen up. And it's true though. Like I've had the same kind of feelings. Like why, going back to the See Me post on our blog, like I want to be taken seriously before it gets to that point, I guess. And sometimes it's almost like the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing, or, you have to lose it to get it, meaning like I really didn't get the help I needed unless I was like, right, you get it, making a stink or making a big deal or almost, I don't know, I felt like it got that way with postpartum too. Sadly, I mean, that I take a lot of that on myself, but it's like I didn't get help. I didn't I don't know, I didn't really get anybody to connect with me in the way that I needed until it got to a point where it was bad, and it was obvious. So I feel like with this high-functioning anxiety thing, there's this group of people who have it, you wouldn't know, and it's not, until you meet somebody that you feel comfortable enough to share it with that it gets out. And then there's this group of people that I feel like, I keep saying the words high functioning anxiety. I don't even, I don't know, it feels weird to say it. But I think there's this group of people that do have high functioning anxiety and aren't even aware of it. So in my mind, I'm almost more sorry for those people because I was one of those people where you have it and you're unaware. So if you don't know, then you don't even know to get help. I guess it's the unaware piece here, just like with the postpartum thing. Like it's to a point where like I'm ready to work on it, like Steph was saying, like put the work in and do the work now, because I was able to call it a problem. The people who aren't even that to that part yet, is just, I guess, where there lies a lot of suffering and where I suffered a lot. And it wasn't until I started opening up, even with postpartum, back way even before I met Julie, I wrote a blog post, just kind of like a one-off thing when I was in it, and I had to get it out. Steph was talking about this, how people deal with it different ways, and I certainly wouldn't have called myself an extrovert, but I feel like the postpartum, the motherhood thing almost like pulled that out of me because I cope this way, in sharing and connecting. And I wrote this long post way back when about kind of just laying it all out there, like, like you had said, stuff like open book, like here I am, I'm so at the bottom that this is all I can think to do right now. It's all that felt right to do. So I wrote this thing, and I just remember getting flooded with personal messages and text messages and calls, and from people who I hadn't spoken to in so long, connecting, and it just kind of like fueled me to keep the open book thing going, and it's worked for me. It certainly helped me to find Julie, and for this whole thing to get off the ground. But anyway, back to the anxiety thing. I just felt like that I said it again, here we go, being high functioning, camouflage is it for me. And in a lot of ways, that's a hard thing to deal with, because you look fine, you act fine, people think you're fine, and the only way something's going to change is if you take the reins and take ownership of what's going on and call it a problem. Yeah, community, exactly. And I just feel like the people that I think of so much, like especially right now, it just weighs on my heart to think of the people who are even unaware. Like I was so unaware. I remember thinking these like crazy anxious, and I'll speak just to the health anxiety, but like these crazy thoughts. And when people weren't jumping on board with me, or like going down these tangents, or like getting all fired up with what I was getting fired up and passionate and worried about, they were I'll just say out there, and I was normal, where like now I see it as like I was out there and they were normal and grounded. But when you suffer this way, you just nothing that's going through your mind is irrational, and it's really hard to find somebody. And you're not going to find someone who's going to jump down that road with you. You're going to have the friends that are going to, and the family and the people that love you say, no, this isn't true. Like, you're crazy. Don't, they don't mean like crazy in a bad way. They're just trying to get you to see that you're being irrational, and that this isn't healthy for you, and this isn't the way life is supposed to be lived. And it's such a guilty thing now, to look back and view those times and to still go through it. I'm still going through it, not to the degree that I was. And I credit a lot of that to what we're doing and what I've been doing, and exactly like Steph said, like putting in the work to lay those new roads. It's been so hard for me, because looking back, and Julie and I have had this conversation too, is that I can see the way things were my whole life, and I always think that maybe that I blame it on postpartum and becoming a mom and the hormones, but I can pick things out of my past and go back and rewind and think, nope, there it was, because back then I was unaware. I thought everybody felt that way. Julie and I were talking about that on the podcast, even like back to high school things, just thoughts that I had and things that were so important to me and ate away at me and really caused me to suffer in certain ways that I wasn't aware at the time that was not quote unquote normal. And Steph, what you had said in your live really hit me, especially along this way with the laying new roads and being predisposed and kind of almost destined genetically, because one side of my family, my mom's side, and even some of my dad's, but my mom's side, we're chronic warriors and anxious people. And and I've been called out by family members saying like, oh, yep, you've got the Moffat in you and blah, blah, blah. And it's hard. And like everything you were saying today, I totally resonated with the laying new roads thing and detours and just taking that highway, because it's, you have to go watch Steph's live if you haven't, because then this will make a little more sense. But kind of just the default for me is quicker and easier, not the best, and it's certainly more painful. Yeah, seriously, heavily in my genes. So my work, I just feel like is even, I'm not saying even harder than anybody else's, but I know I've got the work in front of me because it's in me and I could feel that. But I loved, especially like the aha moment that Steph has, like, okay, when you slip up, she was saying how she kind of loves those moments because it shows her where her growth is taking place over here, right? Because if she slips up and all of a sudden that's not the norm anymore, that's the exception, not the rule, it shows you that you're putting in the work and you're putting in the time, and that your time is being well spent, like you're getting somewhere. And I just feel like for the first time in my life, I'm getting somewhere. Not that I'm better or I have any leg to stand on to tell people what to do, but I'm just trying and reaching. And if you read my post today, that's really the best I can offer anybody on the anxiety piece, specifically the health anxiety piece, because it's rough. It's so rough. I can't even, it's something that I thought I would just be able to pour about but I can't even wrap my head around it enough to even give you a clear picture of what I go through. Maybe slowly over time I'll be able to. But that's it. I don't feel like I even need to rush anything. I feel like I share what I'm comfortable sharing, like we all do, and that eventually we will come around to a better place. And as long as we keep putting in the work and leaning on each other and helping each other, and I think the biggest thing too is if you don't get it or you don't suffer that way, just to kind of give someone the benefit of the doubt, especially if you know that they're working and trying and that they'll slip, is just to be there for them. And I know, like Julie has said a couple times, how hard it is to be that person consoling me or whoever it is, because you see them like this and you just want to snap out of it, stop it. This isn't you. This isn't healthy. And being the person myself, it's like, I want to. I wish I could. And there's like this, you just can't reach them and they can't reach you. And but the efforts are not unheard, and it just shows that they love you. And the fact that you work hard and try hard and listen, and it just shows that you're working and that you love yourself enough to work for the people that you love. And that's kind of what Julie and I based this whole thing off of, was bettering ourselves for ourselves and for the people we love. So hard some days. I still have days where I just feel like I'm frozen in bed. Like I can hear the kids on the monitor and my head is just kind of somewhere else, like my mind's running rampant. Like right now, my test results are supposed to be back tomorrow. A test that I had done last week, and this is probably the first time I've done really well for the week in waiting. And like I joked with Julie today in the car that I saw online that my results are in. I just can't I can't view them until the doctor views them. And old Molly would be like calling the doctor's office every hour, what have you. To get those results, but I tried to not be that person today, and I tried to just know, sorry for the darkness, it's really dark in here. I'm just trying new things. I'm trying to be patient and not let my mind run away with the worst case scenarios. I'm trying to surround myself with fun things, fun people. We met up with a friend today. Anything to just get my mind off of what I'm going through, not in an ignoring it kind of way, but trying to call it what it is and deal with it. And my newest thing this week, I'm all about visual things and mantras and affirmations, and you'll see that if you've read my post. But this week, the thing that I've kept in my mind is it's nothing until it's something. So my tendency is to assume it's something until it's nothing. That's why I've chased all this testing. That's why I've gotten so many scans, so many biopsies. There's been so many things taken from my body just to make sure I'm fine. And that's how I lived. It was like I had it until until it was proven that I didn't have it. And I almost fed off of that high of that call or that message that says, you're fine, everything came back normal, right? I'd get that call and I would have the best day. I would get that call or that message and my anxiety would just lift for the day. I'd be happy, and then it would end. It was so short term, and so I chased it like a drug, like a high. And anytime I had some kind of physical symptom or ailment, anything, it was something until I could prove it was nothing. So this week, what I've told myself over and over is that it's nothing until it's something. So don't assume, this is so hard for me, don't assume that it's the C word, cancer. Julie, don't think that way, dirty. Don't assume that it's cancer, assume that it's nothing. Because just like the people who keep telling me that love me that it probably isn't, I shouldn't think that way unless I'm told otherwise. And it's so hard. It's such a hard thing for a mind like mine to wrap my head around it. And Julie, let me read your comment real quick because I'm still not good at reading and talking on the fly. I got sick when I got home with the flu-like stuff, and automatically I started worrying about being alone and sick. Yeah, there's the whole other part of it. Exactly. The mom being sick. We have to not be sick. That's honestly, that's where all this stems from for me. Again, I think I mentioned that in my post. My anxiety went skyrocket when I had the kids, because all of a sudden, not only was I worried about my life for me, like I have to be here for them. So the thought of, again, cancer or anything like that, just like, ugh, chokes me. Facebook has been not good for me. Google's not good for me. And Facebook, what I mean is like when you're scrolling and all of a sudden it's the story of the mom who has a 2-year-old and she's got breast cancer, and then there's the other mom who just had her baby and she's now has a brain tumor, and like those kind of things. I just don't understand the people that feel the need to post. I mean, I understand when it's like a GoFundMe and you know the person and you're trying to help this family, but the people that post it just to post it, it's like I almost wonder if they know what it's like to be a person like me who sees that and can't let it go the rest of the day. I know people will say, well, unfriend those people or block those people, but it's not always from somebody that I would suspect. Sometimes it's from my grandma or my aunt or somebody who just happened to share something. I always just kind of wonder the motives behind it, and that's just one reason why I've cut back on my Facebook use that way. Obviously, I'm still here on this page with you all. I just feel like it's in a different capacity, and it's in a healthier capacity for me. This is a much healthier use of my social media to come on and be honest and engage and live out loud, so to speak, and share. I just don't have time, and I just want to cry. Yeah, the what ifs, right? That's this whole thing. Like, it's nothing till it's something. I can't sit here with like, well, what if I get this? And it's not even what if. It's when I get this, and what's going to happen now, or how am I going to handle this? Or I don't even let myself go there. Like, there's days I can't even go there. I can't even think. A counselor of mine, this past year, her thing, she was very quiet. She just let me talk too much, but the one thing she came at me with the one day was when I was going through a breast cancer scare, because I did have a lump and I was getting biopsies and stuff. She asked me what my biggest fear was, and I said that I have breast cancer because I have 2 little kids, and she's like, okay, well, let's just say you do. And it was like, okay. And she's like, well, what then? And it was like, it was uncomfortable. Like, I wanted to just like run out of the room and not talk anymore. But it was good. It was valuable for her to kind of call me out and think like, okay, well, say it is something. What then? Instead of just sitting there crying about what would you do? And I don't even know what she was looking for me to do there. I just think she was helping me face a fear and kind of evaluate the real reasons behind why I'm scared. But anyway, this isn't a therapy session. Maybe Steph and I can go off about that on our own sometime. Liz. Hi, Liz. It is difficult to think it's nothing until it's something. Like mammogram results while the hubs is deployed halfway around the world. Yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh. I can't see more of that. Oh, keep up that mantra. Yeah, thank you. Julie and I were talking about issuing that as a challenge this week, the mantra or affirmation type thing. Because how simple, right? To maybe pick something. Maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe you're dealing with body image or self-esteem, depression, or maybe you have one specific thing you're fearing for this week. Maybe you don't have anxiety, but there's something going on, and that's weighing heavy on your heart. Maybe we write something, a quote, a lyric. I love the little mantras, a Bible verse, anything, and just kind of post it on your mirror or somewhere where you'll see it throughout the day. I carry them in my purse sometimes. The steering wheel thing. Just be careful you don't get distracted when you do that. But yeah, we were thinking about doing that, so maybe we'll roll that out on Instagram. I used to be the person that would think that was stupid, honestly. Like way back when the post-it note thing or writing notes to yourself, I'm like, man, that stinks for people who have to be like that. Well, comes back around. Here I am. But anyway, something to think about. I'm not really getting anywhere now. What else did I want to say? I don't know. I think that's all I got for you. I do plan to record the second part 2 to that podcast with Julie. Yeah, exactly. And kind of get into my stuff a little bit more. And then, what were we saying, Julie, that we were going to do? Just probably more takeaways. Steph, we'd like you to jump in probably too. Maybe we make this more than a part 2 thing. Because I feel like we opened up the topic and it kind of like opened up bigger than we thought, and I just feel like I can't end it yet. There's more to go. I think it's an ongoing thing with us as women and moms. I don't know. I don't know any moms that haven't struggled with it to some degree. So it's an important thing that we talk about and share and help each other with. So I think that's it. Oh shoot! I think The Bachelor started. Julie, I'm sure I lost you. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. To the different types. I'm sure I have almost all of them. I'm a good. That's what I like about this, right? I feel like I can give well, Steph, you're the best because you can give patient and doctor perspectives. But I feel like that's all I have to offer, and that's why I'm so grateful that we have Steph on board to kind of cover what we don't or speak to something that we're not sure about and to help. Like, honestly, Steph, I look forward to kind of talking more with you and maybe that's something I would obviously do here or in private, whatever. I just feel like that could be a big help to people. So maybe that's an idea, maybe like a Q&A type podcast about this. Because I know that Steph offered earlier in her life to answer some questions, more specific things. I know I have some, so maybe we get a running list and we can do a Q&A with Dr. Reinhold. Yeah? Brilliant. Awesome. All right, I'll let you get to The Bachelor now, because I know that's what you want to do. But pace yourself, because I think it's a really long one. Awesome. Good. All right. Well, thanks. I apologize that it's dark. This was the spot right now to do this. Anyway. So I can't go watch The Bachelor right now because we don't have cable, and I won't be able to watch things until the day after. So, Julie, you'll have to fill me in. Oh, you make me a better person too. Good night. Enjoy The Bachelor. I'm gonna go find something to do. Take my mind off of my own anxiety. Watch something funny. I need comedy when I'm having a night or a day like this. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Steph. Whoever else is here. Love you all. Okay? Ta-ta.